Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the officially renamed, it's officially back, Honor Thy Podcast.
Hey.
Hey. So, we are officially back, and so...
That was so pathetic.
We basically were on Thy Podcast, we just kind of shamefully changed our name.
Yeah, to a really terrible one, which I can only apologise for.
I'm really disappointed that Two Dans and a Dick wasn't the chosen title.
I mean, luckily, Dan, you can get away with it because you weren't even involved in the creation process, so you're completely unscathed here. But yeah, it's all on me. But we're back. It's Honor Thy Podcast, which it still is a very fitting name, and also it works well. And
I'm very honoured to now join this podcast.
We're very honoured to have you. You're becoming a bit of a regular around these parts.
Thanks.
Bit of a series
I hope
regular,
I will
if you
be on. Oh. Hey, nice.
Well, I mean, you're in the group chat now, so
I created
you
it.
created, yeah. So you kind of forced yourself in. We didn't really want it, but whatever. So anyway, in this episode, we're going to be reviewing Arrow Season 1, Episode 8, as we would do. But we also have some news to talk about in regards from one of this week's episodes, and of course, we are going to be talking about the episodes as usual. So let's kick off with sort of the news of the week, which comes from the season finale of Batwoman Season 1, which is that we now officially have a casting for Bruce Wayne in the Arrowverse in the form of Warren Christie, otherwise known as Carter Bowen from Arrow Season 1 from a couple of episodes ago.
Yep.
I mean, CW has been known for reusing actors. I don't know how they keep getting away with it, but because there are a lot of continuity issues. But I mean, what do you guys think of the casting? I mean, you guys are up to date with Batwoman, so you've seen this. I'm guessing this is Hush, right?
Yep.
Yeah. Okay, I thought so.
Yeah.
So, what do you guys think of the casting?
I can't really say a lot for it. I definitely think he looks like Bruce Wayne. He's definitely got the look of him.
I think, he's got a good look for him. Like, I don't know much about the actor, and having looked on his IMDb, it's not spectacular, but
No.
The CW has had some actors and actresses that haven't really done a lot, but then sort of shine on the Arrowverse. So I'm going to give him a shot.
Yeah, I mean, like I say, the only thing I remember seeing him in, other than Carter Bowen a few episodes ago, which we did the review for, was Apollo 18 film I saw ages ago, was absolutely terrible. Not really much to his own fault. It was just an absolutely shit horror movie. But so I haven't really got the best judgment of him. But you know, I'm just going to be open to see how he is. I'll be curious to see how good he is as an actor, because I've read interviews that they've done with, I believe, the showrunner of Batwoman, and that she was talking about how, through the casting process, they kind of did it where they were able to play both Bruce Wayne and Tommy Elliott impersonating Bruce Wayne. So when I hear more about that, it has me a bit more encouraged that hopefully he'll be a pretty good actor. But again, we can't really say a lot because we only saw him on screen for about 30 seconds.
Yeah. And I think it's David Rappaport who does the main casting for like all of the Arrowverse shows, and sometimes he just never misses the beat. Like, he always gets characters spot on, to be honest. So
casting is a really strong point in the Arrowverse.
Exactly. Yeah. So I'm willing to give him a shot. If we don't see him in the Batsuit, it's just cool to actually see Bruce Wayne.
Yeah, I know what he looks like.
He actually is like. Have they said anything about this? About him actually, like, Bruce Wayne actually showing up, or is it just Tommy Elliott as Bruce Wayne?
Tommy Elliott as
just Tommy Elliott. Yeah, they've been very coy about, does this mean we'll have the actual Bruce Wayne or Batman in? But I reckon that's just because of the fact that obviously, with what's happened with the season, plans change, and I think just in general they always have to be quite coy about the whole Bruce Wayne Batman scenario, because we know how WB is with the TV properties. Like, they're literally just like, nope, can't have him. So we'll just have to wait and see.
I mean, I think it could be really interesting if we actually do get a Bruce Wayne officially in the Arrowverse. Like, I don't know if they'd ever do Batman, because even Titans can't really do Batman, really. Like,
and when they do, they have to give your eyes a seizure when you watch him during a fight scene.
That's what I mean.
Because you can't show the chest, you can't show the logo.
Yeah.
So we're just going to make blind everyone who watches the action sequence. Jesus.
Yeah, that's
that
what I mean,
Titans finale.
Because you have Bruce Wayne in there, obviously played by Ian Glenn, which I still find an incredibly odd casting. And then
especially when he dances.
See, I don't even know what you guys. you guys were mentioning this in the chat. I don't know what this is, but I'm very intrigued. So much so, I might just go and watch Titan season 2 just because I'm.
It's very much Spider-Man 3.
Ah,
It's worse. It's worse than Spider-Man 3.
Yeah,
At least Spider-Man
yeah,
3 is a
true.
good movie.
I mean,
Yeah.
I think this could be really cool if they actually do something with it. I mean, obviously, who knows? We did have Superman on Supergirl in the second season, so maybe they'll introduce Bruce Wayne. I don't know. Batman is obviously a different question entirely. I mean,
Yeah.
it all comes down because Warner Brothers are so difficult. They just kind of sometimes they say something's fine, like they can have 2 versions of the Flash at one time, but you can't have 2 versions of Batman, and then they don't allow Slade to come back on Arrow for the final season, but they have no plans for the Deathstroke movie anymore. So I don't know. It's really impossible to know what they're going to do with it, but it's cool that we actually have a casting and that we actually have a face to the name now officially. So cool, and I do agree. Like, even though I'm not up to date and stuff like that, looks wise, he looks like Bruce Wayne completely. Like, I think he honestly might be one of the best castings in regards to looks that we've ever had for Batman. Like, obviously acting is a completely different thing, but like purely based on looks, like he looks like Bruce Wayne. So that's really cool.
Yeah.
So we'll see
I
what
think
happens.
we will get him as I think we will get Bruce Wayne in the Arrowverse, like as an actual. He is Bruce Wayne. He's not a doppelganger type thing. I think we will. It just depends on how well this guy does it.
Yeah.
Because if he does well, then they're going to be like, okay, we actually want to use you. Like,
yeah. My
more.
question with it is that if Bruce Wayne comes back to Gotham, you know, it can they have, because obviously Batwoman takes place in Gotham and Batman is the protector of Gotham. Is he just going to sit back, or is it like a thing where he's just going to be like, okay, well, I'm back in Gotham now, but you're doing a fine job. Kate, you can just keep going.
I haven't really thought about it like that. To be fair, that's too much thinking for me.
Yeah, because like, I was thinking about this. I'm not even up to date with the show, but I was like, you know, is Bruce Wayne just going to sit back? Because there is this mystery as well as around Bruce Wayne. Like, where is he? Where's he gone? What's he doing? You know, unless that's been filled in at this point, I don't know.
Yeah, I feel like it could be the point where obviously it will be hushed for a while, and then possibly, I don't know, if like ratings are good and people start to respond to this guy being Bruce Wayne, they might be like, okay, let's write in Bruce Wayne coming back, and possibly, yeah, they could retire him or like as the Batman, so he is just Bruce. But maybe future, like down the line, they can actually get Batman on the Arrowverse. Who knows?
I think they have to. Like, they've kind of, you know, they've established that Batman has been around. I think it'd be really cool if they actually, you know, I don't think if they do it straight away, but I think it'd be one of those things where, you know, maybe in like by the end of season 2 or maybe season 3 or whatever, they'd be like, oh, okay, let's bring in Batman now. Like, it's just like, like in the finale or something, he comes in to help or something. It'd be really cool. But yeah,
I'd definitely probably like to see him as like an actual cameo. But if they do bring him in, and like you said, it's like, well, you've got Batwoman, you've got Batman. They both protect Gotham. Like, how's that going to work? So
yeah,
doesn't really work, does it? So
no,
you can only really have one at a time. Yeah.
Well, we'll see what happens. But it's cool nonetheless. So I guess we could just talk about. I'll lead that into the to the Batwoman finale. So I'll duck out for a bit, but you guys can talk about your opinions on that.
Yeah. Do you mind being spoiled for it just before I go into it? Do you mind being spoiled with the finale, or have you already been spoiled about most of it?
I mean, I know obviously about the Batman stuff, the Hush.
Oh.
Hang on, I'll tell you what. I'm gonna take my headphones off, and then what you do, Hoss, just put in something in the chat, in the Discord thing when you're.
Yeah, because there is a lot that happens, and I don't want to spoil it for you.
Put in a little message in the Discord thing, and I'll come back then.
All right then, soon, yeah. So we had the Batwoman finale, which aired yesterday on the same night as Supergirl, which is why I had no interest in watching Supergirl at all. I caught up with the season by then, and I was just thinking to myself, I could continue the momentum and watch Supergirl, but this season's been crap, so I just watched Batwoman instead. Not wanting with a question, but I enjoyed it. I thought it was a good finale, considering that it wasn't supposed to be one. I liked the stuff that they did with playing up the whole, Jacob and hating vigilantes and him teaming up with Batwoman and double crossing her.
Yeah,
That was really cool. It was really effective, and you felt the emotion of how it affected Kate as well. Like especially in the aftermath, where she's like, "Oh, my father hates me." It's like, no, he hates Batwoman. He doesn't hate you.
Yeah.
Like it's going to be so interesting to see what happens when obviously she ultimately reveals herself to him and what her reaction's going to be. Just because it's just
going to do that actually.
Yeah, I thought it was going to happen by the end of the episode. Like that's why I was so shocked when they turned on her, because I genuinely brought into the fact that he put aside like the differences. Like how throughout season 1 of Arrow, like Oliver and Quinta would like sometimes team up if they had like a common enemy. I thought it was going to play out exactly like that. And then it didn't.
Exactly. Yeah.
So
I feel like it is going down that route though, isn't it? Where eventually Batwoman will team up with her dad, and he's going to be the Quentin Lance character, isn't he?
Yeah, I feel like that's definitely going to happen. If not the start of season 2, then definitely it's like towards the end of it. Yeah, as well, like a wrap up to that story. Exactly. No, I like that.
Just a quick one with like Batwoman when they shoot her. Why does no one shoot her in the face? If you
That's
know
what I was thinking as well. Like you shoot all the perfect areas which can't do any damage to her. Just shoot her where the skin is.
Yeah, just shoot her literally where the skin is in her face.
Like if it was the old suit, I could maybe pass them on that because it's quite a small area target. But literally, her whole neck is pretty much exposed. Just shoot her there.
Yeah, exactly.
All these like ultra like badass military guys can't shoot for shit. They'll stormtrooper aim. Oh my god. But no, that was
exactly.
I did laugh about that, but I enjoyed that. I loved what they did with Mouse and Alice and Mouse's death.
Yeah,
that was really good. I've seen people say, "Oh, it felt really rushed," but to me, I didn't really feel that. It kind of felt as if they already played this, tension running between the two of them of Mouse thinking that we've gone too far deep into this, we need to get out. And again, I didn't expect that. I didn't think he was going to die. The third episode from the end, I thought maybe if they were going to do that, wait until the finale. But no, that really shocked me. And I really felt for them in that scene.
The title was called Oh Mouse.
Yeah,
so, I mean, but I know what you mean. Like, I didn't sort of expect him to die, and I thought he was quite a good character who might have been around for a little bit longer. Yeah, maybe into like season 2, but yeah.
Yeah, it was just the weird thing with me is that I didn't actually know what the title of the episode was. I just went into it as the episode 20, and it was only after I watched. It was only after I watched it when I saw the title. I was like, "Oh yeah, that kind of everything makes a lot more sense now."
Yeah.
No, that was good. I enjoyed that. I mean, there's I can't really think of anything. Can you think of anything else? Because my mind's going blank. I'm not used to hosting. This is why I don't do it.
Yeah, Declan's not here, but he's not actually a bad host. Yeah. Despite all the shit that we give him. With COVID, obviously, it wasn't the planned finale, but I think it worked out as a finale. So, like, well done to them for
doing that. I think you always have to commend them in that regard. The fact that, like you say, this episode just had so much finality. Given that they went into this not having any clue what was going to happen at the outcome, pretty much similar for me with what they did with The Flash. Like, The Flash really worked well as a finale when it wasn't supposed to.
Sort of the way, like, Killer Frost obviously went away or she said she was going away, but she'd be able to come back straight into next season. So, like, the finales so far, minus Supergirl, have all worked.
I think the Batwoman and the Flash one have worked so well as well, because I feel like on top of them feeling like very good episodes to end the current season on, they also had a really good cliffhanger to entice you for the next season as well, which again I think just really helps because I mean we'll get onto Supergirls later, but one of my problems was that the cliffhanger I just didn't really care about because it's teasing a character returning that I do not care about at all. So it's supposed to be this good grandiose moment, and I'm just there like, I don't like this character. Why are you treating it in such an epic way? I don't care about it.
Yeah. So it's almost as if Batwoman and the Flash have good writers, isn't it?
Yeah. It's kind of insane. I mean, maybe Supergirl should get some of them on board. You never know.
Yeah.
Maybe that's the secret ingredient they're missing. But no, overall, I thought it was. I enjoyed it.
Solid finale. Like I've liked it. Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Let's message Declan so that he's good to come back.
Do we have to? Can we just let him sit there?
I wish I could. But I'm not that cruel. I'm not that cruel to him. All right. Is Hoss gonna come back? You back, Hoss?
I am.
Oh, hey, he's back. He's back. Yeah, we're done. We're done with Batwoman. We can continue.
Yeah.
That's good. So yes, they are the thoughts on Batwoman. So the next thing we could talk about is, and I'm very interested to hear all about all this, is the Supergirl finale, which I've only just watched because I've had a lot of trouble finding the episode, but we're finally there.
Oh god, we go from a really good unintentional season finale to this pile of shit.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh my god.
Okay, well, Hoss, I'll allow you to kick off here. What made this so shit?
I think that just the main problem with this was that, I know I've been on here and for a long time I was behind Supergirl, and I've heard you complain a lot about how you don't like the plot, the main story of the season, the whole Leviathan thing, and the thing that Lean is working on. And because obviously I've binged pretty much the majority of the season over the last few days. Yeah, I just don't care about the villain. I don't care about them at all. And even in this finale, they tried to give explanations for them, but it felt so rushed and ham-fisted that it just felt like it came too little too late, and I just didn't really care about it. And if I don't care about the main threat of the season, then for me that kind of derails the whole finale. I just didn't care about the overall threat. I thought there were some good individual moments. The only scenes in the episode that I enjoyed were the ones with Kara and Lena mending their relationship. For me, that was the best part of the whole episode. Like all the other stuff, like fucking Alex's new suit. Oh my god, what the fuck is that thing?
Yeah, I woke up to that. What the hell was that about?
Everything was just so bad about that suit. Like, just give her the one that she'd had beforehand. That was perfectly fine. Why are we building some like B-Tech superhero costume? Is it because everyone just got high off that one episode where she became Supergirl? Like, why? Why are we doing this?
It's called foreshadowing.
I don't give a fuck, man. These writers are crap. These writers are done out here. They're done.
It looks a bit like when Felicity Smoke got a costume, doesn't it?
It actually kind of does, yeah.
Just to for the audience, I actually fell asleep during this finale. I can't remember what bit I woke up at, but I definitely saw that costume and I thought I was having a nightmare. I wasn't sure if I was still awake or I was just like, what? Yeah, but I had a dream of LexCorp. Did that happen during this episode?
LexCorp?
Did it finally happen?
What do you mean, LexCorp?
No, sorry. Supergirl and Lena, did that finally happen?
Supercorp.
Supercorp, that's
no,
it. Yeah,
no. Thankfully, that didn't happen. If that did happen, it would be rivaling the season 4 Arrow finale as the worst finale I've seen in my life.
No, Kara and William got married.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm gonna have to watch that right now.
Repost it to all of the Caramel and Supercorp shippers. Get about 10,000 death threats.
Yeah.
But no,
I'll tell you what you would have liked though, Hoss, in this finale. There's one thing I watched and I thought, oh, this is something for him. I mean, I didn't even know you were up to date, obviously, at this point, but you must have loved the Power Rangers suit coming back. You must have loved that.
Wait, what?
I laughed so much when they brought back the Power Ranger suit, and I just instantly burst out of laughter because it just reminds me of the early season 4, which was fucking dreadful.
When they didn't have Melissa, so they had to put a weird mask on it.
So they tried to turn the show into.
I don't think that costume's that bad.
No, it's not. It's not a bad. It's not a bad looking suit. It's the helmet. It's just stupid.
Yeah. And also just because of how poorly they wrote around it and filmed around it in season 4. Whenever I see it again, I'm just reminded of that, and I just couldn't. I couldn't get it out of my head. People will call me biased for that. I don't care.
Yeah.
I couldn't make that separation.
It is funny.
Fair enough.
It is funny. But what about you, Dan?
I'll get around to watching it again, but I'll wait till it comes on Sky.
Yeah.
I mean, I'll be 100% honest. I actually didn't hate this episode.
Oh wow!
Okay,
wow.
all right. Let's give him a minute. Let's give him a minute. We'll let him explain.
Let him explain his thoughts.
I actually thought this was a fairly decent finale for what they did. Because I mean, the thing is, I agree with what you say, Dan. Like, or Hoss. In that the entire foundations of this season and the foundations of this so-called finale is completely shambles because they've done such a poor job of establishing what Leviathan is and what their threat is that, as you say, in this episode, it's just kind of like all just kicks off and goes with no kind of setup. I will say, in this episode, I started to actually get a grip on what Leviathan was, finally, but it's way too little too late. It just doesn't work because, again, I don't care. But that aside, I mean, I enjoyed kind of just seeing other elemental benders just because I find that shit cool.
This man's already biased. This man's already biased.
Wait a minute. But as a follow-on negative, the two new ones who are randomly introduced in this are just complete cannon fodder, and I don't understand why they introduced. It makes no sense. Like Rama Khan, like fair enough, he's been around, but the other two, not so much. I don't even know what their names were or even what the powers were, because Alex says, "Oh, they both have elemental powers." I get one of them was like lightning, I guess. I don't know what the other one was. He was just shooting like green energy or something. I was like, what are you? But you know, I kind of enjoy that, and I liked how in this episode we kind of had a full established team because we haven't seen that since season 3 really. Like we kind of had this full established team. You know, it was Kara and Jean and Magan and Dreamer, Alex. Like they were all sort of working together, and I enjoyed that. Especially, I like having Magan back. I really enjoy having Magan back. I like her character a lot. And then,
but it feels weird. Sorry that she's now got together with John because Magan feels like she's more of like a daughter to him. Does anyone sort of?
I mean, based on other interpretations of the character, yes, but in regards to Supergirl, not really. I mean, I do think David Harewood does look much older than her, which is a bit weird.
Yeah, that's the thing. That's the
like,
thing
he does. But... Yeah, it is a bit weird. But again, I guess I've kind of gotten used to it. Like I used to think that a couple of seasons ago, but now I'm kind of just like whatever. But yeah, I see what you're saying.
The new suit's really cool.
The new suit's really cool. Yeah, I like that a lot. I found it off-putting at first. I found it like really kind of like bulky, but I do quite like it now. And then speaking of suits, we did have Alex. To be honest, I don't hate the suit. I think.
Oh no, I'm not having this.
Wait a minute.
I'm not having this.
Wait a minute. Now the eye makeup is stupid.
And the rest of the costume is just not that good. It is literally. How is it an upgrade on her previous costume? The previous one was fine. It did not need changing.
Well, to be fair, she doesn't have that suit anymore because she doesn't work at the DEO, and the
I don't
DEO
care.
is gone.
I don't care. They could have just said, "Oh, it's all right. I had a spare."
Wait a minute.
All they needed to say.
Also, what you're forgetting is this storyline that I really hope they go down for season 6. This is Alex as a vigilante. This isn't her being a superhero. This isn't her continuing the work as the DEO. This is her vigilante costume. So it's a lot more in line with what you would see on something like Arrow or Batwoman, where it's a lot more of a ground. Like it's not trying to be a superhero suit. It's trying to be a vigilante suit, where it's just there to simply conceal her identity.
Oh, it's just like I don't want them going down this vigilante path because they've done it before. They've done it. The thing is, they've done it beforehand with so many other characters on Supergirl, and it has not worked. I have no faith in them to do it with Alex. They've done such a good job with their character, and I don't have faith in them to do it. Like you see what they did with Guardian, completely butchered him, did F4 with him, and then
the difference there is that they did nothing with James. Period. Whereas with Alex, she has actually been a character from the beginning, and they've shown in this episode her ability to work alongside the team. I think that's what this is going to be. We may see a separate thing as well, where she's helping people perhaps at night and stuff like that. I as someone who, I always say Alex is the best character on the show, I still stand by that. I think this could be an excellent storyline for her if they go through with it in season 6.
Look,
I'm excited by this. Honestly, I really like this.
I'm willing to give it a chance, but again, like I say, I have no faith in these writers to do it properly. I think everyone's just getting gassed up because for once we've actually had an episode that's sort of comprehensible, because the rest of this season has been shite for the most part. I think people are just getting gassed up. You'll wake up at season 6 and you'll be like, oh yeah, this show's utter shit again.
I mean, if that's the case,
That's what it
then
is.
that's the case. But as of right now, I think this is a really exciting storyline for Alex. Get rid of the eye makeup. We don't need that. But then
Yeah,
once...
why did she go for Oliver grease makeup?
Do you know what I think it
get
is? I think it's supposed to be representative of the Bluebird from DC, which is if either of you quickly Google a picture of Bluebird, it looks very reminiscent of that costume. Very, very reminiscent. I think it's supposed to be almost like an homage to that in a way. Because I believe that character isn't connected to Supergirl in any way, but yeah, I think that's what it is. But yeah, get rid of that, and I think the suit's fine. I enjoyed Kara and Lena finally getting over all that stuff because it's been so ridiculous. It's been nice just to put that to bed. Especially, I really like the scene. I think Melissa and Katie do really good work in this, especially because Kara's just able to like let loose on Lena at this point, just rip the band-aid off and fully just lash out for a bit, which I quite enjoyed. Because Lena kind of deserved it, so it was kind of nice to finally get what was coming to her. And I gotta say as well, I really like Melissa's performance in this as well. Overall, I liked her kind of speech that she does to all the people in VR. The way they represented that was really weird, but I liked the performance. Like the whole thing about going, like, around the globe was really odd. But yeah, whatever. And then my favorite thing about this was Brainy. I think Brainy is one of the only characters this season who's actually had a strong, consistent story.
Same.
Where
is he actually dead now?
I don't know. I mean, I don't think
that's the thing.
Now.
It was a bit 50-50. I kind of felt a bit confused.
Yeah.
I feel like maybe there was an extra scene that they didn't film, probably because of COVID, that's on the cutting room floor. Because I feel like there should have been a bit more to that. That's the only thing that kind of confused me. But again, I understand what's happened. But also, I also understand that Supergirl's had the advantage of actually filming segments of an actual finale. So I don't know.
I mean,
I don't know.
It's gone. It seems like obviously Nia kind of dreams. She basically figures it all out, and then she's like, "Okay, we need to go." Like it's like they're gonna go save him, and then while Kara and Lena are trying to take down Lex. So I think that's probably how the finale would have played out. You would have had this team split down the middle, half of them going to save Brainy, the other half going after Lex. I think that's probably what would have happened. I don't think Brainy's dead. I don't think he'll die.
Yeah, no, I don't think he's dead, and I think it would be a pretty poor decision if they do sort of kill him off.
Yeah, I think he's still alive. I just think he's obviously going to be close to death. And to be honest, I mean, I think they handled it really well. Like, I think Jesse's one of the better actors on the show, and I think he's proved it this season.
Good. Yeah.
Like, he's honestly, as I said, like, even though I have not liked this season, Brainy has been one of the strong, consistent things I have liked, and his story's been really good. And the way Jesse's been portraying it has been great, especially in this episode. That sort of like 10-minute thing where he had his hand on the machine while he was rigging up that device. Like, it genuinely felt painful, and I bought that from him.
His acting for that was quite funny though, when he had his hands on it and then he'd sort of wince sometimes.
Yeah.
It was quite funny because I know, like, obviously when you work on a CGI like show, you have to pretend that what's happening to you, like, obviously isn't there, so that can be quite tough. But yeah, sometimes when he like went like or something, he looked a bit funny.
Yeah. But I think he did a really good job, and it was nice to kind of see him back in that sort of green mode that they've brought in this season, which was kind of fun. And
it doesn't look bad.
No, it doesn't. I think it looks cool.
It looks all right. Yeah.
And I really have enjoyed Megan Rath as well, his sister.
Yeah.
Because I think that's a really cool concept when they brought in all the different Brainies earlier on. I thought that was really fun. So bringing her back was nice.
Yeah, it's even better because of the fact that she's on Banshee. Just extra points for the W. Extra points for the dub.
I mean, I'd like to honestly see her come back a lot more. I don't know if she would, because she is a series regular on Hawaii 5-0, but she's
that's
really
finished
cool.
now.
Oh, is it?
Oh
well, in that case,
yeah, that show's completely finished now. They had their
fine. Well, bring her on then.
Finale a couple of months back. Yeah.
Problem solved. So yeah, I honestly didn't hate this episode. I actually thought it was a pretty decent finale. I think as far as Supergirl finales go, I think it's pretty high up in regards to a ranking. Like, it's not as good as last year's finale, because that one just knocked it out of the park and gave us so much false hope. But still, I thought it was a decent finale. I think for what they did with it, I think it was actually really entertaining. And it was one of the only episodes in this back half where I didn't come out of it confused or frustrated. I was like, oh, I actually had fun with that. I enjoyed that. And I actually feel like I have a grip on what was going on. The only thing I don't quite get, and it goes back to Leviathan once again. So they wanted to destroy the world, right?
Yeah.
But then they also wanted to kill all the people in the VR world. They needed to reach a certain point. So is that them saying that them? So they didn't want to take over, kill the world. They wanted to kill the population. Is that what they were saying? So like they were trying to kill.
I have no idea what Leviathan wants. No one does. No, I don't think even not even the writers know. The writers don't even know.
I think I finally figured it out. Right. I think what it was. I think that Leviathan wanted to basically take out the population in a way where there was going to be not enough people in the world to overthrow them, so they needed to take out a certain amount of people. So that was all the people they were trying to build in the VR world. That links into None the Cherry, which was Lena's project, which translates to the Do No Harm project. So basically nobody can have any kind of negative or violent impulses while in the VR world. So they've got that, and then also that can be used on that can be used on the people who are remaining, so they can become subservient to Leviathan, and then so they can basically take over essentially. And then they also have been using Lex to get the kryptonite so they can take out Kara, because obviously that's a big problem, so they can take out that. So I think it was like a world domination thing where they were trying to basically take out enough of the population to the point where they could use the Nom the Cherry project to make the rest of humanity subservient to them, but in order to do that they had to put them all in the VR thing, so they could basically not, because they still want the world, they couldn't cause these big natural disasters because they still want to keep the world as it is. I think that's what it was, but I could be completely wrong.
So when I was asleep, did Thanos appear in this episode at all? Snap. That's what it sounds like.
No, I mean, I'm just completely spitballing here because there's nothing like cataclysmic that happens here, because it's literally, like I say, this is just what I got from this episode in regards to me thinking about it.
Yeah.
I think they had all these people in the VR world, because in this episode, like, there's like this countdown thing where they're trying to get as many users inside Obsidian North as possible, so they can start basically killing them. And I think that's what they were going to do. So they were going to kill all those people while they were in there, and then the rest of humanity, they could use the Do No Harm project to make sure that they couldn't overthrow them and they would be subservient to them and they could take over. And obviously they use Lex to get the kryptonite so they could take down Kara and the rest of the team, so there'd be no one to stop them, and that would be that. I still don't know what Lex was trying to get out of it, though. That's the only thing I'm not sure on. I don't know what Lex's goal is.
Speaking of Lex, can we also talk about how crap that cliffhanger was? Because I just don't care for Lily and Luther coming back.
Someone explain the end, because as I said, I fell asleep and it's all fuzzy.
So basically that
I don't care about being spoiled for it.
That thing that he gave to Lillian, that like tube thing, basically contains all of the Leviathan gods. They were trapped.
Okay.
So like Rama Khan and people like that. They were. That's what Brainy was doing. So Brainy was creating that device so it could trap them in.
Okay.
So that contains them. So I don't know 100% what Lex is doing with that, really. Because if Leviathan has been stopped, that seems like what Lex was trying to do initially, but I don't know what Lex is going to do now that he has them. So yeah, I don't know.
What was that the end of the episode then?
That was the cliffhanger, yeah. So basically Lex and Lillian now have in the palm of their hands, literally, Leviathan. Basically.
Okay.
Yeah, basically the power of gods, essentially.
Can he just smash them so that they're just erased from the show? Like, just drop them on the floor and we could just be done with them.
We could just we move on.
Yeah,
also, what was with Gemma Cooper in this episode? Like, she, at the very end, she turns into the bloody robot girl from Transformers 2. What was that about? Like, she has like a couple like freakouts, especially because there's this thing as well that they bring up in this episode that like Gemma Cooper reports to this other person in Leviathan, but we don't see who that person is yet. We hadn't seen her in this episode, so was she meant to appear in the finale? I don't know. Obviously, again, this isn't their fault necessarily, but they kind of just brought that up in this episode. Gemma's like, oh yeah, there is someone else above me at Leviathan, but we haven't seen her yet, or we don't know. So yeah, still, it's not the best. It's a bit messy, and again, there are some things that remain unclear about Leviathan and the plot. But as far as the finale goes, and given the fact that it was impromptu, I didn't think it was that bad myself. So there you go.
I'd like for Supergirl in their future seasons. I quite liked Bad Brainy. obviously now it seems like he's back to being like good brainy, but I'd very much like to see what's the like full on? Is it just Brainiac?
Brainiac, yeah.
I'd like to see Brainiac come into the show. I mean, we saw it. I didn't get to watch Krypton, but we obviously saw Brainiac on Krypton.
Yeah.
And I reckon just get the same actor and just use the same costume and that, because that looked really cool. I'd love to see him come on Supergirl. I'd also the actor that played Lobo. I reckon they could put him on Supergirl, or maybe on Superman. I think that'd be quite cool. Yeah.
I wonder how much crossover there'll be between Supergirl and Superman, because I was thinking like, surely Lex has got to show up on that show at some point. Surely.
Apparently, there's a guy who the main villain is called the Stranger, and apparently that's like a form of Lex.
Yeah, I've read that. I don't know
but,
about that.
Yeah, I didn't think that we have. Well, there's other Earths, but yeah, I don't get why how there's going to be two Lexes.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think that's been confirmed, but
yeah,
it's a weird. I did read that. It is very strange.
Yeah,
but I think Lex has got to show up there at some point. In
yeah.
some way, shape, or
100%. Yeah.
Which would be cool.
Yeah.
So let's move on to Legends of Tomorrow, the most recent episode.
Shotgun Nate.
Right. So while Dan fell asleep in Supergirl, I would like to say that I stopped watching this episode partway through.
Yeah. I've heard that this episode is like comparable to season 4 quality.
Oh, it's literally what season 4 was. It's all revolving around this joke of let's go back to college and let's do this frat movie thing.
Is it filler episode as well?
It's complete filler. It's complete.
So does that mean I could skip this then if I'm going to watch
the
season? Oh, sound again.
I hated it so much. Like, I mean, I've been putting up with Legends this season. I don't mind it. Like, I've said this before. I've kind of just accepted it now. But that's because
you have to
this
accept
season,
Legends of what it is like.
Yeah. But this season, I've kind of gotten to a point where I was like, okay, well, they have actually been doing this story. It's not been exactly as I'd like it, but okay, I can roll with this. But this episode was literally what season 4 was, and everything I hated about season 4, where they had an idea, they had a joke, and they wrote the story around the joke when it made no sense whatsoever. And I just hated every second of it. Like, it's just the whole idea of, like you say, the Shotgun Nate thing was just stupid. It makes me dislike Nate as a character, and I like Nate. Because Nate has just gotten worse as a character for me as the show's gone on.
Well, yeah, I feel like he probably will lose a bit of what made him Nate, because obviously with Ray going, he doesn't have that bro sort of moment unless they bring back Berrod.
Which, I mean, he's back in the next episode, by the way. They spoiled that in promo photos.
Yep.
But
classic CW.
Yeah, but I think that this episode, it's just everything wrong with Legends. Like, they just completely wrote around this joke. You have Nate being an absolute tool. Then you've got the sorority stuff going on where you have like this new sorority being set up with all the like female characters on the show. And I mean, it ends at a point where, the point where I stopped watching. Have you seen the whole episode, Dan?
Yep.
So I stopped watching at the point where Sarah kind of has formed this sorority sisters thing, and the other guys, the kind of bro clan, show up at the house, and they're going to battle for the chalice or whatever. And she's like, "Oh, I'm going to challenge you to A," and that's literally where I stopped watching. So,
you didn't? They played beer pong, or some weird version of it. It wasn't even actual beer pong. Like, they had bats and they were batting it into the cups rather than throwing it.
I mean, this isn't doing a good job of making me want to go watch it. But I was just thinking to myself the entire time. I was like, what even am I watching? What is this? And it's so difficult for me because I want to like the show and I want to get on board with it, but when it's so disregarding of the universe that it's in, that's when it annoys me, because it's like Legends aren't even involved in the crossovers anymore, and it's because they're just so separate from the rest of the universe, they don't even count. Like, they're in like a whole other reality at this point.
Well, this episode wasn't even set in a different time period, was it?
No, this one's set in modern day.
So, yeah, Legends of Tomorrow is kind of, its whole actual main thing of the show is time travel, and it's kind of just chucked out the window.
I mean, this show has completely chucked all of its original values out the window.
It needs like a cast shape up. Like, there's too many characters that are the same.
Need Rip back. Rip wouldn't allow any of this. Like, Rip would be ashamed of Sarah at this point, given the fact of what she's done with this. Like, genuinely, like, the way they go around, like, so this chalice that they're looking for, I can't even remember why they need it now, but they need it so...
yeah, because at the end, they basically win, and that chalice turns them into gods for, like, a day, because that's how they use the Loom of Fate.
Oh, that's right, yeah. So they're
yeah,
gonna,
so
they're going to bring people back.
It ends up with, I think, the god character that they have on the ship at the moment.
Astra, yeah.
Astra, yeah, that's it. Astra's like, oh, I'll drink it. And then they're like, wait, what? We can all drink it. Why do you just have to do it? And then, so they all drink out of this, like, chug cup, whatever they call it in the end. And they all glow yellow, and now they're all gods for a day. Yep.
Oh my god. You're not making me want to watch this episode.
Did you wake up then, Dan?
To be honest with you, I was just kind of drifting off. Yeah, I just drifted off. Like, that's the thing. I just don't care about Legends this season. It's better than season 4, but that's not even asking a lot.
I mean,
and from what you've told me, this just sounds exactly like season 4.
Yeah, like, I mean, if you had a gun to my head and a gun to my balls, I'd be forced to admit that, yeah, this season is better than 4. But to quote Mr. Sunday Movies, it's only better in a way of being hit in the head with a brick is slightly better than being hit in the head with a slightly bigger brick. Because it's just like, yeah, it's not as bad, but it's still bad, and I still don't like the direction that the show's gone in. I hate it, and this episode completely exemplifies the exact reason why I turned on Legends. And this was the point where, like, do you remember last season, Dan, where I was like, oh, there was like an episode in season 4 where I was like, I'm done.
Yeah, I remember this. Wasn't it the like, what was it?
It was the episode where Gary's nipple turned into a demon.
Yeah, Gary's nipple, yeah.
Right.
Yeah, like the jump the shark moment you called it.
Yeah. That's the point, and I was like, I'm done. And honestly, I have that same feeling with this episode. I was literally just, it was that bad that it has basically just destroyed my goodwill with this show that this season had kind of built up. I'm just at the point now where I'm like, no, I want to move on. I'm done. I'm literally done.
I forgot about Gary's nipple.
I mean, I really want to, but it still haunts my nightmares.
This show just, it's ridiculous, and I don't know, it gets more and more ridiculous each week, but...
And it's not going to change, because next year they're doing Space Aliens, so...
I don't know, it just kind of entertains me, you know. Yeah.
It's fair enough, and I mean, you know, there are some people who love it.
I can't put it down, because it just does make me laugh that I kind of watch it just to find out what else they can do.
Yeah, and I wish I could be like that, because there's a subset of fans who absolutely adore this show, like, for what it is now. And I completely get it. Like, I think if you're not a huge fan of the wider Arrowverse and you're not really typically a fan of superhero shows, I think you could love this. Like, I think for a certain audience member, there is a lot to love about Legends at the moment. It's just I'm not a part of that same subset. Like, I still want the show that feels consistent to the Arrowverse and, you know, feels like it's a part of the same story, but it's just season not anymore.
Basically.
Well, even season 3. Like, season 3 was silly, but at least it had a really good story. And, like, actually
what was season 3 again?
Where they had, like, the elemental...
the totems, yeah.
The totems, yeah. Like, that was a great story, and, like, it was really... And it was silly, but, like, all the jokes came from within the story and came from within the places they had to visit and stuff like that. Whereas with this, it's just... And also, what I don't like about Legends at the moment as well, and this episode does this, I don't like the breaking the fourth wall. Because, again, it just adds this point. Like, the Arrowverse is not a breaking the fourth wall universe, so that when it does it... Like, I mean, I guess you could make the Deadpool argument, but I don't know.
When did it do that?
So, like, in this episode, when Zari texts that girl and she uses a Bebo gif and stuff like that, like, I don't. Like, even, like, I think it was at the very beginning of the season when they had the clips of the reaction channels from YouTube.
Yeah.
Which, I mean, I don't hate that because it's a really nice thing for the fans. Like, I can imagine, like, if you were one of those people who got showcased, it would have been like, oh my god, that's amazing. But, again, I don't like the breaking the fourth wall thing. It just feels really strange to me. I just don't agree with it. And, again, I wish I could like this, but I don't. I kind of hate it. So.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, this episode was literally the Gary nipple episode from last season where it jumped the shark, and I was okay. I'm done. I will
No,
keep watching the season because I think there's only like 3 episodes left or something.
Yeah, it's like 3 episodes or something. Yeah.
Yeah, so I'll keep going to the end, but yeah, we'll see.
Yeah. I'm thinking of starting Black Lightning. Is it any good?
Please watch Black Lightning.
Yes, watch it. Watch it.
Cool.
Watch
Yeah.
it now.
It's so good.
All right, that's decided. I will watch it. I think it's perfect.
Black Lightning is the best show in the Arrowverse right now.
Yeah,
100%.
and that, yes, season 3 was brilliant.
Season 3 is banging. I mean, all 3 of the seasons are great, but like it's genuinely, it's easily the most consistent show. Like it's so good week after week, and it's just got such a great cast. It's got such a great story all the time. The villains are great. What I love about it as well is that like, in fact, I won't say that because that's a bit spoilery. But yeah. But anyway, yeah, watch it. It's awesome.
Yeah, nice. Yeah, I remember I watched like maybe 3 episodes when it first started, but then I just had too much to sort of watch at a time, so I kind of dropped it. Not with the intention, like, or not with the thing that it was bad. I just dropped it because I had too much.
Yeah, I dropped it in season 2 because I was a bit busy and I just kind of lost interest. But then I did come back to it basically at the beginning of this lockdown, and I watched it and I binged the rest of season 2 and all of season 3, and I was like, this show's so good.
Yeah.
I love it.
And it's only got what, like, is it like 16 episode seasons?
Yeah, season 1's 13.
Nice. Yeah, that's easy.
Yeah, and then
I really like his character
16.
on Crisis. So
yeah,
it's
Cress is
maybe one
great.
of
Yeah, he's really good, and the entire cast is awesome.
yeah,
because it's just a really tight knit cast. I like it a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, cool. I'll definitely
Yeah.
try and start that.
It's the best.
Nice.
It's the best show in the Arrowverse, in my opinion, right now.
Mm.
So that's Legends. Worst episode of the season. So let's move on to Arrow. No, stop. So we'll move on to Arrow season 1, episode 8, otherwise entitled Vendetta. I had it this week.
I forgot we were talking about that.
So this episode is kind of like part 2 of the Helena Bertinelli 2-parter in a way for this season, where Oliver is still, getting into bed quite literally with Helena Bertinelli, and Diggle's still worried about that, saying, you can't save this woman and stuff like that.
It's because secretly we all know that Diggle and Oliver are the true couple. Yeah.
Dolliver, still away. So I actually seen, I want to talk about this because I've seen there was actually a lot of comments on. Obviously, you guys won't see notifications for the comments on these, but in the comments, a lot of people don't like Helena.
Boo!
There's a lot of negativity surrounding Helena in the comments. I mean,
come at me, deal with it.
Because they find her to be very annoying and abrasive as a character. I would like.
See, now I'm justified for giving the last episode a 6.
I mean, I would argue that Helena and Oliver are very similar personalities. Really.
Yeah.
Well, I watched it with the fact that you said last week that they're kind of very much Batman and Catwoman. Yeah. And watching it again this week, I can see that, and I very that wasn't even a thing I kind of thought of. And I really like their chemistry. I think it was good, and it's a shame that we don't get to see her come back much more in the season or into the later seasons.
Yeah, because she's genuinely really kind of interesting, and we can kind of see her downward spiral and kind of going back and forth between because like Catwoman, sometimes she works with Bruce, sometimes she doesn't. Because they even have that relationship, because obviously Bruce and Selena, they know who each other are, and we have that in this case as well. I think it's very comparable, and I think that them two together, they work really well as that kind of, because they'll always have that tension as well. So it works, and I genuinely really like Helena. I think she's really interesting. The fact that she has been, she's been playing the long game, really, working under her father, who she's known was the one who killed her husband. And she's just been waiting for the time. She's been taking everyone out. She even caused the bloody triad to come after the entire Bertinelli gang. And then she tries to kill her dad at the last second. I think it's really cool, her story.
Yeah.
I can kind of see maybe why people don't like her. I think just because of the fact that she's becomes an antagonist to Oliver in the episode. And they kind of definitely put an emphasis on her being a very damaged person. But like you guys say, she kind of is this reflection of Oliver if he goes like going too far over the edge in terms of their mission, because obviously Oliver's mission is the list. Her mission is, destroying her father's legacy and avenging her fiance. So now I enjoyed it. I think I enjoyed her a lot more in this episode, and overall, I do think I preferred this episode a lot more to the last one. So don't worry, you won't be seeing us. You won't be seeing us lowest score. But no, I enjoyed it. And I liked how it played out. Like I say, having the triad come after the Bertinellis, which again, completely forgot the triad were ever in this episode.
Yeah,
I just see China White show up, and I'm just like, what?
I love China White. She's so cool. I love the fact that she is someone who they always bring back. Like, she's always really cool. And then also in this episode we have some really awkward dinner scenes between Arnold and Tommy and Helena. I mean, this is all just CW forced relationship drama, really.
Yeah.
What you're on about? It's there to cement that Arrowverse is the end game.
Very true. Very true. But like, it's the scenes where like, Helena just kind of like storms off and stuff like that, which isn't, really justified. Like, because I like the fact that Oliver comes out. It's like, I didn't know it was gonna get that weird in there. So, I mean, fair point.
Yeah, true.
Like, Helena just kind of storm off and stuff like that, and even Tommy throws a bit of a hissy fit. But even Tommy does come around on himself in the end. But I mean, I think that this scene was just really. It does feel a bit out of place in the episode, just because it's a bit.
Yeah. It was almost like they needed a reason for Helena to turn against Oliver.
Yeah.
They needed an excuse for it, and I think that like the actual reasoning of it, like he kind of did manipulate her in a way, because it's clear that he obviously still has feelings for Laurel, but I feel like there was a less over the top way they could have done it. Even though it did give me some beautiful Laurel moments, so I do have that to thank for it as well. So I'm very much biased and conflicted in that area.
Yeah. I mean, I do like how it kind of results as well, because Tommy just flips out, and I quite enjoy the scene where Tommy goes back to apologise, because I'm excited for Tommy to get back into the nightclub stuff, because I've said this before, I love the nightclub stuff. In the season, like, I think it's the perfect cover for Oliver. Like, I love him as mayor as well.
Yeah.
Like, I love the nightclub owner thing. I think that's such a good idea. It works so well for his character. It makes so much sense for his persona and stuff like that. It's very much Dark Knight-esque, where, in the Dark Knight, and Arrow does this as well, where when Bruce Wayne first comes back and he just has to act like an ass, and just, it's all about, partying and cars and girls and all that. I think it works so well for that kind of mask of Oliver Queen, if you will. So I really enjoy that. So I'm excited to get back into that. And then we did have Walter as well, digging more into the past with Moira, with the help of our good friend Fifi. And,
Fifi, oh my god, why are you calling her that?
That's what we call her.
Yeah,
Fifi.
That's what all the listeners call her.
Yeah, so that's what we call her. I've never really noticed this before. Like, I've always been aware of this, but like, I've never really looked at it really in depth before. Walter's got fantastic facial hair. Like, it's very unique. I've never really seen it before, but it's very. I mean, good on you, Walter.
Does he? If we.
Yeah, just like
he's got like a tiny bit under lip.
Yeah.
Oh, well, it was so.
It's like the kind of facial hair you'd see in the really, really dodgy parts of Spain. It's one of them things.
He's just got a little soul patch, doesn't he?
Yeah, just like underneath his lip. It's very unique. I've never really seen it before, but I was like, I respect your style, Walter. But he recruits Felicity to. I love the fact when Felicity first comes in, he completely just bodies her, and he's like, he's like, I don't want you looking into my wife's past.
I actually got a little bit pissed off there, because I'm like, hang on, we're doing this 4 seasons too early. This is meant to be for season 4 Felicity. This is while she's actually a good character.
Yeah, like, this is actually unfair. Like, Felicity was literally just helping you, but he does kind of bring it. Well, he doesn't really help her really, because he brings her back to like help again, and then he's like, well, I mean, if you do this, there is a very high chance you could get murdered.
You could die.
So it's not really helping her, but I mean, I actually really like this stuff with Walter kind of digging in, because I like the fact he's still trying to play Moira, like, when they're back at home and stuff, and he's like, oh yeah, we're still cool, but I'm actually just, like, looking through your drawers while you're gone.
Walter's a panty sniffer.
It's literally just like I love the fact though that like it seemed like Felicity like because this actually was like one of the first times where you see Felicity truly kind of show off her skills, like when she brings him the notebook and we see the glasses and stuff like that, and he gets to scan through it, we see the list and all that, which is cool. I really like that. Oh, God, I like Walter. I really like Walter. He's such a cool character. I'm so sad he doesn't come back. Because he genuinely like I like the fact that he kind of just gets into this like investigation of his own wife, and then it just is a downward spiral for him. But it's just really cool stuff.
Yeah, it's just a shame what happens to our boy Walter. He's going to be gone the next episode and then vanishes for half the season. Just as stuff starts to get interesting.
Was there a reason for that? Did the actor go on to a different show or something?
I think he was just
stuff. That guy.
Yeah. He's in loads of stuff. I think he was also as well. He's only a recurring character anyway.
Yeah, he's a recurring guest star.
Yeah.
Feels bad, man.
Yeah. But
I've got some questions for you, Dec, on this episode.
Okay, go on.
Because we know that you like Oliver shirtless. This is the weekly bit where we ask Dec about shirtless Oliver. What did you think of the salmon ladder scene?
This is a god tier one.
It really was. I have to agree with you, Dec. I might be joining you.
Yeah, this is a good one because this is purely Oliver just flexing. They don't need to have the camera at that angle, but they do.
Do you reckon as well? Sorry, like when Diggle's the camera's on Diggle, that like Steven's just chilling on that salmon ladder.
Oh, definitely.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, there's no giving up there. He's still going, and
yeah, exactly.
And Diggle again. This is Diggle and Oliver. It's endgame because you see the way Diggle's looking at Oliver in these scenes. He's so impressed with that bod. And you can't.
Oliver is better than Supercorp.
Oh, definitely, without question.
Yeah. I mean. Yeah,
there's more signs to Dolliver than there is Supercorp.
It's actually kind of true. Did you say you had a couple of questions, or was that the only one?
Yeah, and like, how does when he jumped off the salmon ladder and he just left it like 4 rungs up? Like, how does he reset that later?
I imagine what he would have to do is like
just
grab one of the bars at the side, take the bar off, and jump down. I think I don't know.
Yeah.
Because I can't think of any other way. Because unless
you must have something that flicks it like off.
Yeah. I mean, I'd hope so because I wouldn't want to be the one that has to climb up there to get it back.
Yeah.
You have to make one of the extras do
it. One of the runners has to go get it. Yeah. I really like the scene with Oliver and Helena when he was just flexing his archery skills. And
that's cool.
Show off.
Cool. Yeah, and then he gives the classic like Captain America, I can do this all day line, which I thought was really cool.
I like the fact she is just like lobbing stuff in the air and he's just shooting it. It's cool stuff.
When he shoots one out of her hand, she just looks at him like, what? That was in my hand. I didn't even throw it.
Yeah, it's really good. I enjoy scenes like that.
That was really fun.
One thing I will say about season 8, I do like the scene where Oliver like is training Mia. And with the tennis balls, it's a very iconic thing. And we kind of get that, especially because it's a very it kind of adds more to the sexual tension as well because it's very
Oliver and Mia.
No.
This ain't Game of Thrones.
No, Oliver and Helena. It's where it's a very simple thing where you have his arm around her for the bow and stuff like that. It's very good. But yeah. I think this episode was. I think it's a bit of a step up from the last one, and I think it does a lot more for Helena, especially because she finally like becomes the Huntress in this one. Like we see the crossbow, we see the suit,
crossbow killer,
the crossbow killer.
Yeah, it's quite interesting how the Huntress's origin is it the origin that Arrow has given her? Is like which one is the main actual canon one, or is it the one that's in Birds of Prey? Because I can't really.
I don't really know, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
No idea.
Yeah.
I do have some knowledge of comics, but not that much.
Yeah.
I mean,
the Bertinelli house, is that the same house that Damien Dark?
Probably.
Pretty sure, yeah. They do reuse a lot of sets.
Yeah,
I would not be surprised.
Yeah, I just think I recognise the front bit.
The front, yeah.
Yeah.
It probably is. I'm pretty sure I saw like another. there was another I'm pretty sure it was in this episode. I saw like another reused set. I'm trying to think what it was, or maybe it was on Supergirl. I don't remember. I don't know.
Nah.
Yeah, it was either.
Really
It might have been in Supergirl, but
yeah, I like how the Queen's mansion is also the X-Men mansion. That's really cool.
That's a great build in that.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
I still never I can't believe. I remember being like completely bewildered by this. Do you remember in season 7 when Emiko goes to the grave and we just see
and it's just burnt. Yeah,
it's just like I didn't know this, but apparently it's like in between. I think it's like somewhere around season 3. I think
5 and 6.
Oh,
5 and 6 from what I heard. Yeah.
Yeah, so it's like Malcolm did it or something. Like it got burned down. I was like, what? It's just never explained in the show. But I was like, because I remember seeing it, I was like, when did that happen? I said, did I miss an episode? But yeah, cool episode overall. I liked it. I think it was a step up from the last one.
Yeah.
I'm gonna jump ahead straight away with my score. I'm gonna go for this
damn.
time. I'm gonna go 7 out of 10.
Yeah, I've got the same.
So hang on. I'm trying to remember this now. Didn't you give this episode an 8 out of 10 last week? Last week's episode you gave an 8 out of 10. You said this was a step up, but you gave it a 7.
Yeah, you did say 8, didn't you?
Yeah, you said 8 last week. And you said this episode was a step up. Pardon?
I give this episode an 8 out of 10.
Oh, I thought you said 7. I thought you said 7.
I did.
You did say 7. Oh.
Oh, damn.
Well, technically, if it's a step up from last week, shouldn't this episode be a 9?
Well, not necessarily. I give this episode an 8.5.
We're gonna go to decimals now.
Yeah.
Nah, it's just because I'm deaf. I misread your score. I'm deaf. Sorry. Oh no. Before I get into mine, I will say another scene I did like was the final one with Oliver and Tommy. The scene where it's like the two of them opening up about the fact that Tommy's just struggling since obviously the last episode when he's broken now. Yeah, I really like that scene. Also, the music in the background for that, probably one of my favorite like scores for Arrow. Like it's just absolute god tier. I love that scene. But for my final score, same as Declan, I give this one a 7. It's better than last week's, just because I think it did a lot more to just advance Helena in a more interesting way. Like I said, there's still a few things that annoyed me about it. Like I said, the whole dinner scene, it didn't really. It just felt a bit forced to me. It just felt like I say, that was by far the weakest scene because they needed an excuse to get them apart from each other. But yeah, overall, good episode, decent episode. Yeah, not a lot else to say about it. So I think 7's fair for me. Like I say, I'm just more looking forward to the next episode because some shit goes down. Some shit goes down on that episode.
I was still waiting for Dark Archer to show up.
Mid-season finale or not?
The next one is.
Yeah. To be fair, in that scene where when Felicity goes to Walter's office and she shows him the picture of the image that's on the front of the list of the book.
Yeah.
I don't know why, because I mean I've rewatched season 1 recently, so I should have remembered. But I thought when he turned the page around, I thought it was going to show the Dark Archer. I don't know why, but I thought that was like the brief tease we got of the Dark Archer before the mid-season finale. But clearly, I must have imagined that.
It's kind of crazy that because I know that Malcolm gets revealed in the next episode as well, like to the audience. It's kind of crazy that like they literally introduce the villain in episode 9 and they reveal straight away who it is.
Yeah,
it's kind of bizarre. But we'll talk about that in the next one.
Well, Stephen said in a podcast when he did with John Barrowman that he didn't know Barrowman was the villain until like I think it was the finale, which is really cool.
Yeah, it's cool that they kept that. Yeah.
Yeah.
But anyway, that brings this episode of Honor Thy Podcast.
No, you haven't asked Dan for his score.
He said.
Oh yeah, I saw it. Yeah. I said like sort of briefly. I gave it a 7 again. Like I thought it was another good episode. Yeah.
That's good. I think we're all agreeance. All in agreeance.
I like to see.
Yep.
Good.
So I'll try again. That brings this episode of Honor Thy Podcast to a close. Make sure you leave your thoughts in the comment section down below of everything we discussed today, whether it's the episodes of the week or this particular episode of Arrow, whatever you want to let us know. Let's talk about it in the comment section down below. And as always, I've been Dec.
I have been Hoss.
And I've been the second Dan. You meant to say Dan.
I'm sorry. All right, I'm sorry, but we've
got to work on this.
Yeah,
I'm so used to Hoss though. That's the thing. I can't get it out of my head.
Yeah.
Because I call him Hoss on the daily, so it's
Yeah, I'm just messing with you guys.
Yeah. We'll figure out a proper outro eventually.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
In season 2. So anyway, thank you guys for listening. We hope you enjoyed this. Make sure you give it a like as well if you enjoyed this. Share it around with any of the DC fans you think may enjoy this type of content. And also make sure you subscribe and hit the notification bell so you don't miss any more awesome DC content like this from all across the Arrowverse. And I hope to see you guys again next time.